Hello everyone, it's History Behind the Warrior, and welcome back to another Mortal Kombat video. Still coming off the hype of that amazing Ermac trailer. Shameless plug for the history of Ermac, by the way. Today, I thought it was only right to talk about the other character that featured in that trailer. One that hasn't been playable in 17 years now. Second in command of the Red Dragons. And clearly an Attack on Titan enthusiast, Mavado. Now, Mavado is a very interesting character in the lore, having only been exclusively playable during the 3D trilogy. So with his sudden return in Mortal Kombat 1, there's naturally quite a lot of you wondering who exactly is Mavado and what he's all about. But before we do begin, as always, if you're liking these sort of lore dumps and Mortal Kombat videos, please do give this video a thumbs up, as it really does go a long way here. And if you do wish to see more MK content, feel free to subscribe. But anywho, let's jump right into things. Now, to talk about Mavado and truly understand what he's all about, we must delve a little bit into that of the Red Dragons, as it is a pivotal and very important part of his character. Now, Mavado belongs to the Red Dragon clan, predecessor to that of the Black Dragons, and a very mysterious crime syndicate, formed by the Edenian demigod Dagon. Unlike its sister clan, the Red Dragons acted swiftly and silently in the shadows, carrying out their acts, atrocities, and schemes with no survivors. They were able to preserve the clan's secrecy and remained largely unknown for an extremely long time, which was absolutely to their benefit, as it allowed them to act freely with little to no restraints. Now, Mavado himself was second in command of the clan, and the right-hand man of Dagon, one that was loyal and could only be described as a zealot of the clan, respecting its customs and enforcing their confidentiality. Now, despite the amount of success they had, this sort of secrecy wasn't something everyone shared, and thus, in later years, a small faction of the Red Dragons would break off, branding themselves as the Black Dragons, and made their presence known to the world, with little to no discretion of who did and didn't see their actions. Understandably feeling betrayed, and seeing them as loose ends, the Red Dragons would hunt down their traitors, and pluck them off from the shadows, one by one. Although their existence is entirely absent during the original trilogy, it is during the events of Mortal Kombat 4 where their presence is felt and is being recognized. As during this period, Mavado would send off one of his operatives, Su Hao, to enter and infiltrate the Outworld Investigation Agency. Knowing that they were hunting down the Black Dragons, they would secretly aid them from the inside to ensure the destruction of their rival clan. As this went underway, Mavado would take on the job of tracking down the speedster Cabal. As a former member of the Black Dragons, he was still seen in their eyes as a loose end. So whilst entirely off-screen, it is revealed in Deadly Alliance's Conquest mode that Mavado was able to track him down, apparently kill him, and then take his hook blades as a somewhat reward and trophy for himself. Now, despite their discretion, the secrets of the Red Dragons would come out during Deadly Alliance, as Mavado would be approached by Shang Tsung and Quan Chi. Knowing of the Red Dragons' nature and their eternal vendetta towards the Black Dragons, they offered Mavado an opportunity he simply could not refuse: Kano. You see, during this time period, the Deadly Alliance had been closely working with him, and with him very quickly outliving his usefulness, they wanted to form an alliance with the Red Dragons, as they saw them as the perfect candidates to enforce his rule. They would gladly hand over Kano, but of course, it was at a cost. That Mavado first assist in the destruction of the Outworld Investigation Agency, and then hunt down a spy, the blind swordsman Ken Shi. So Mavado, tasting the tip of victory on his tongue, would accept the Deadly Alliance's offer, ordering Su Hao to blow up the facility, as he then hunted down Ken Shi. During this pursuit, he would actually cross paths with Sonya Blade and Jackson Briggs, who had somehow survived the explosion. But with them still recovering from it, it was very easy pickings for the Red Dragon, as both were defeated and incapacitated, allowing him to then cross paths with the Takahashi, defeating but not killing him. So in the climax of Deadly Alliance, Mavado is rewarded with Kano, but instead of killing him, he would capture Kano and take him back to their facility, torturing and experimenting on him. Yet, the events of Deadly Alliance were far from over, as Mavado, knowing the traitorous nature of Shang Tsung and Quan Chi, would be the first one to break their alliance. So Mavado would send out Su Hao to take out Shang Tsung. But for one reason or another, Mavado didn't get a response from him here. So when he himself decided to act, he would come across a dead man walking, someone who he thought he'd slain, Cabal. Having been fully revived and assisted by Havoc, Cabal is able to get his revenge, defeating and supposedly killing him just prior to the events of Mortal Kombat Deception. But this would not spell his end. In terms of canon and continuity, Mavado makes his final game appearance in Mortal Kombat Armageddon, having apparently survived his battle against Cabal, and it is revealed here that he is still loyal to that of the Red Dragons, serving by Dagon's side, and even being appointed to kill his twin brother, Taven. And the two do inevitably butt heads, but is simply no match for the demigod. So Mavado's last and final appearance would be during the Battle of Armageddon. And during this onslaught, he can be seen on the forces of darkness, battling the likes of Ken Shi, Johnny Cage, and even Ashura. But much like many others during this war, Mavado would perish, and the timeline would be reset. Now, it is worth pointing out that Mavado did appear in the rebooted continuity, but it was strictly to that of the Mortal Kombat X comic book line, which are officially now non-canon. With that said, he did have a very short run here, as he did play a part in kidnapping Jackie Briggs and Cassie Cage, only to then be swiftly dispatched by the two, so his temporary canon appearance was very short-lived. With that said, Mavado does of course appear in the new era, but I don't believe it to be just strictly as a cameo, as he's actually referenced to in an intro between Kitana and Li Mei, where the Red Dragon Enforcer has apparently made it to Sun Do. With that said everyone, that has been it for the history of Mavado, and I do hope you have enjoyed this video, and it shined more of a light on Mavado as a character, because he's definitely one of the more obscure ones that kind of do slip through the cracks from the 3D era, especially with the lack of them during the rebooted trilogy. So with that said, what are your thoughts on Mavado? What do you think of his cameo? And do you think we'll see more of him in the new era? Please do comment down below, as I'd love to hear what you have to say. But for now everyone, that's been it for me. So as always, stay strong, stay well, and keep on fighting. I'll catch you in the next one.